fan because I called his coming out fight against Bradis Prescott.
He's
and
special.
then various other stepping stones throughout his career.
I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1,000%. Absolutely right.
I also think Canelo is slowing down.
I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
You know, becoming the first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era in 3 different weight classes. Really, and the way he did it, and the class that he showed.
Joe Rogan praised Terence Crawford's win over Canelo Alvarez, saying he thrives on doubt and always proves critics wrong. Rogan highlighted Crawford's slick style, sharp precision, and power that shined on the biggest stage, calling him one of boxing's most skilled fighters today. Analyst Bong Hill even tweeted that Crawford could beat any version of Floyd Mayweather, a bold claim fueled by his dominance across weight classes and ability to adapt, which has pushed his legacy to a whole new level.
Ready to subscribe totally to that because, again, you're talking about somebody who is stubborn.
And sure.
Who wants to prove everything he can prove.
100%. I agree with that too. But I think in boxing and certainly in MMA, there's a certain amount of years where a fighter can keep the RPMs up. And, when they're in the red line, and there's some people subscribe to the idea of 9 years. There's 9 years is the most that a elite fighter in MMA has performed at their prime. I think that's a bullshit number because I think it's entirely dependent upon lifestyle, nutrition, discipline, physical attributes. There's a lot of factors.
George Foreman won the heavyweight championship of the world in boxing at age 45.
True, but he took 10 years off.
Yeah.
Gareth praised Terence Crawford's performance as one of boxing's greatest ever, noting that Crawford moved up 3 weight classes, was older than Canelo, and still dominated after a year out of the ring. He said it was a once-in-a-lifetime display of mastery and composure. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson saluted Canelo on X, saying many fighters avoid tough challenges but Canelo showed true courage by taking risks against the best, reminding fans that greatness is about more than just winning.
At the course of the week, we said that this is a game of IQ. There's going to be movement within the fight. You're going to have to answer different types of questions and bring different types of game plan. Crawford did that. He was able to do it backwards. He was able to do it forwards. He could trade in the pocket, catch the stuff, and then counter. He was absolutely magnificent. Listen, I know this is raw and we've only just walked out the stadium, right?
10 minutes ago.
And when the dust settles on this, we'll probably have better answers and better thought processes. And I'm sure people watching this will get stuck into the comments and maybe say what I'm about to say is quite outlandish. That might be the single best performance that I have ever witnessed live. It was absolutely tremendous. You've got to take into consideration the weight jump. This is a man that was champion at 135, 140, 147, and obviously recently at 154. But let's be honest, he even jumped up to 154 pounds for that. To go then up to 168 and take on the former pound-for-pound #1 king on a Mexican holiday weekend in Las Vegas and managed to beat him on the cards when the judges tried to do him, mate, it is out of this world what Terence Crawford just did. And he needs all the flowers in the world. He needs all the praise in the world. And I don't think you're wrong, mate, by saying he's the pound-for-pound #1. It's an ever-moving list. That performance alone deserves to put him right at the top of the
Yeah, he's become... There's an argument that he becomes an all-time great with that performance, like you say, because the majesty, the poise, the presence all week, the pinpoint accuracy of everything he did in there, to the fact that in the end, Canelo was frustrated and knew he couldn't do anything to Crawford, and he started...
Visibly frustrated, wasn't it?
No, visibly frustrated that he started to do a weird kind of showboating because he didn't have any answers for what was happening and unfolding in front of him. I think Terence Crawford has rubber-stamped himself as an all-time great tonight, and I want to revise a view on him. I wondered whether he would have been capable of beating Floyd Mayweather at welterweight.
Oh, you're going for it now, aren't you?
And I think, yeah, we got to. I think he may well have done.
Pauli Malignaggi called Crawford's win historic, noting that becoming undisputed in 4 divisions is extremely rare. He compared Crawford's dominance to Mayweather's era and said this victory marked the start of Crawford's own era, a true shift in boxing's balance of power.
Flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world-class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather, and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really, really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous, tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do? You know, it'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know. But let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly at the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Devin Haney reacted by saying Canelo barely won 3 or 4 rounds, showing just how dominant Crawford was. His comment highlighted the one-sided nature of the fight and suggested Canelo is no longer the untouchable force he used to be.
How'd you score it, Devin? I wasn't scoring. I didn't give Canelo more than like 3 rounds. Yeah. Maybe 4 if I'm just being generous.
I can't get away from this
Maybe
fucking
4.
crowd.
Are you shocked or not?
Hey, right here to my left.
Are you shocked or not? No, I'm not shocked. I knew that there was
A fan tweeted that true champions are defined by courage, praising both Crawford and Canelo for showing the warrior spirit. Bill Haney went further, saying Crawford's win over Canelo looked even easier than his fight with Errol Spence. He had predicted this outcome and stressed that Crawford's ability to dismantle elite opponents is becoming more dominant with every fight.
Exactly. And you guys knew what was going to happen. You were in denial. That shit looked easier than Earl Spence. Did it look, huh?
It's a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Man. Shout out to Team Crawford, Bo Mack, and that whole team, man. You know what I mean?
Where'd you rank him all-time list after that?
I mean, put his face on Mount Rushmore. You get what I'm saying? He deserves his place, for sure.
Did you score it, Bill?
Yeah, I scored it a lot for Crawford and a very little for Canelo, if any. I don't know.
116, 112?
I don't know. I mean, I could pick one or two. I could pick one or two in there or something like that.
I know it's straight after the fight. But do you want to see Crawford go out on that, or do you think there'll be a rematch?
No, I don't hear a bunch of partying going on. Listen, it sounds like a funeral home in Allegiant Stadium. Did Crawford win? It sounds like it's a funeral home. Look, you see over there. You see it's quiet. It's quiet as shit. Yeah. Is it a holiday or what? Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, that's a Crawford fan. He's Mexican. Now, listen. Hey, y'all know what's up. Crawford did it. And only person that's talking is me. November 22nd. If you don't want to hear nothing else, Crawford is great. November 22nd.
A fan noted that Crawford, older and moving up 3 weight classes, beat Canelo fair and square with no excuses. Analysts agreed this fight was about legacy, not just belts. Crawford's flawless execution not only neutralized Canelo but also proved he belongs among the greatest. Now the debate is where he ranks in boxing history.
You need rehydrate, you need this. No, you don't. If you're actually a man who is willing to, challenge himself and not a little boy who's afraid, then yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. And Terence Crawford did it, and he did it damn well. Credit to Terence Crawford. Absolutely. Honestly, I'm still... Because for me, although I was picking Canelo Alvarez to win this fight, and although I've been a fan of Canelo Alvarez for many, many years, he was one of the main guys who got me into boxing. I have loved Terence Crawford, loved watching him fight for years and years and years. I remember staying up at the time, and I actually made sure to get the HBO feed to get his fight with Victor Postal. And I remember, it wasn't one of his more entertaining fights, but I remember just being just in awe of the skill and ability of Terence Crawford at the time. I remember Bob Arum, they're both run by Top Rank, when people were saying, oh, could Loma fight Terence Crawford? And Bob Arum said that would be suicide. It would have been suicide. Could you imagine? Good Lord. I can't put into words how happy I am to be proven wrong, because I love watching Terence Crawford. I think he is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And it's really fitting, right? I love Canelo Alvarez, right? But it's really fitting that at the top of boxing, we have two of the most honest champions, honest men you could ever see, you could ever imagine. And that being Alexander Usyk and Terence Crawford, two friends. And I think they really sum up this era of boxing. If we are coming to the end of it as a whole, I think they really sum it up that if you're dedicated to your profession and you're willing to stay disciplined and you're willing to...
Joe Rogan reacted passionately, saying Crawford proved himself superior to Canelo. He praised Crawford's striking, wrestling-like mindset, and adaptability, qualities that made moving up in weight and dominating even more impressive. Rogan compared it to historic moments in boxing, arguing Crawford may have achieved something even greater than Hagler, cementing his place among the sport's elite.
Majumdar was really good.
Yeah,
He's really fucking good.
But I just think Crawford is, it's weird to say against Canelo, but I think he's the better boxer, and I think he's the guy who can make the better in-fight adjustments if Canelo doesn't kill him.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's a big jump to go from 54, which was a step up from 47. Right?
Now
so it goes to 54, and now
68.
he's going to 68. That's so much weight.
A lot of weight.
But Terence is, I think he's the best switch hitter since Hagler.
They claim Hagler was my favorite.
A fan tweet showed Jake Paul mocking Canelo after his loss to Crawford, proving Paul wasted no time taking shots to stay relevant. On the other hand, legend Roy Jones Jr. praised Crawford, calling him special and saying no one in this era can match him. Coming from one of boxing's greats, Jones made it clear this win was a defining moment that permanently elevated Crawford's status.
Scoring. I scored kind of like they had it. It was a very close fight coming down to the last 2 rounds, but Bud put him out. And he fought very smart. He let Canelo wear himself down early, and then he started fighting late. This is very smart.
Not many people gave Bud a chance, but he dominated in there tonight. Do you see anyone from this era beating Terence Crawford?
No, nobody's gonna beat him. Nobody's gonna beat him.
What makes him so special?
The fact that he's fought on both sides and he's a winner at heart. His heart is everything.
With the scorecards right, 2 judges gave it to him by 1 round.
Yeah, we close to a fight. It all depends on what you like. Well, if you like Canelo's aggression, he gave the Bud by like 1 or 2 rounds. But if you like boxing, Bud won by a few more rounds.
What should both guys do next? What should both guys do next?
I mean, Canelo probably got to go back and decide what he wants to do. But if I were Bud, I would just retire. So who gonna top what he did?
Jay Opataya said he wasn't surprised by Crawford's win, noting his mix of determination and skill made the result inevitable. His reaction showed how fellow fighters respect Crawford's mental toughness just as much as his physical ability.
On points, bro, crazy.
How did you have it?
I had him up, bro, convincingly.
Is he awesome number 1 draft?
Awesome. Hey, science of the sport. This guy adapts. I knew it.
How did you know he was going to win? Why?
He's got too much ammunition. You know, southpaw, orthodox, on the back foot. That's what changes good from great, is knowing how to adapt. You know, back foot, front foot, that's the difference.
Devin Haney said he wants him to retire after that. Do you agree with that?
Devin Haney's Devin Haney. You know, where is he? You know, what's he doing? So,
what do you think of it? Do you want Crawford to retire or you want him to continue?
Hey, he's doing well. So it's been good. Hey, what a performance.
Johnny Fisher questioned why anyone would rush Crawford into retirement after such brilliance. He called the fight a generational classic and said Crawford still has more to give, shifting the focus from retirement to how much more history he can make.
Feel great. Etched himself in boxing history right now. And to go up to them 2 weight divisions, unbelievable to do it. Someone like Canelo. I've never seen Canelo have that body language at the end of a fight where he's shaking his head. So credit to both men.
Would you like to see Canelo retire now?
Yeah, of course. I think Abdul is just knocking on the door to fight Canelo.
You don't think he should retire now, Canelo?
No. He's up to him. That's his own personal discretion. He's making millions and millions of dollars, and he will continue to make millions of dollars. He's not been destroyed. He's not concussed. He's just Big John shouting out some. Yeah, it's all about himself. That man.
Devin Haney said he wants to see Terence Crawford retire now. Do you agree?
All the people are saying retire. Why are we trying to retire these great fighters before their time? they're enjoying it and they're fit to do it, let them continue. Why are we trying to get rid of them? We need them.
A fan tweeted respect for Canelo, noting he remains one of the best despite losses to Mayweather and Crawford. Meanwhile, Crawford's journey is historic, rising from 135 to 168 and conquering every division along the way. His ability to keep speed, precision, and power across weights proves unmatched versatility and cements his place in boxing history.
Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. Terence Crawford does the impossible by becoming the first boxer in history to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes: 140, 147, and 168 pounds. He started out as a 135-pound champion and made it all the way up to 168 pounds, beating the undisputed champion Canelo Alvarez, who's one of the greatest fighters of our generation. Tonight, Terence Crawford looked stronger, looked faster, he looked like he had higher IQ. He was just dominant the whole fight. His natural counterpunching instincts and just fight awareness, fight IQ, he did everything perfect. Like I predicted, Terence Crawford was going to give him problems and Canelo was going to get frustrated, but I didn't think it was going to be that dominant. Every time Canelo threw one punch, Terence Crawford hit him with 3, 4, 5 blistering hard shots. Terence Crawford will go down as one of the top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the history of boxing.
Crawford's win over Canelo will be remembered as a masterclass. He broke down a fighter known for power and durability with pure skill, adjustments, and precision. In the end, it wasn't about strength, it was about levels. Crawford showed he was simply operating above everyone else.
So breaking news, 2 huge fights have been finalized for late 2025. And Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo in negotiations for early 2026. So the first fight announced is Lamar Roach versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz in December 2025. Roach, he obviously deserved the Tank rematch, but Tank instead he's taking the Jake Paul fight. So Roach, he's gonna stay active and take on Cruz. And who knows, the winner of this fight, they probably should get Tank next. Next fight, Errol Spence versus Jermell Charlo is being negotiated for early 2026. All the details are still being finalized, but both guys making their return after 2.5 years. Charlo since losing to Canelo, Spence since losing to Crawford, and this is a great rebound test for both guys. Next fight, Naoya Inoue versus Alan Picasso for December 27th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Inoue making his Saudi debut, and that'll be his 4th undisputed fight this year. Obviously, he's got to get past Murjan Akhmadaliev this Sunday, but if he can get past Akhmadaliev, it sets up the Picasso fight in December. Also on the co-main event of the Naoya Inoue card in December will be Junto Nakatani. He'll be making his 122-pound debut against a top contender. And the plan is if both guys win their fights in December, they'll fight next May in Japan for undisputed.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more boxing updates.